Hey everyone, welcome to your tips by Learn with UCT. I'm Dulaj and today's video we are diving into something really cool, a Unifi Honeypot. We'll be looking at what Honeypot is, why it's so important and how to configure it on your Unifi console. Plus, stick around because I'll be showing you how to test the Honeypot using different attacks like DNS, SSH and HTTP. Let's jump right in. Honeypot is like trap for hackers. It is a fake system or network designed to look like real valuable target. But instead of containing anything important, it locks hackers' activity. You can think of it like a decoy, allowing you to gather information about attackers without putting your real system at risk. Why it is so important? Well, a honeypot helps you detect and understand the behavior of cyber threats in real time. It can alert you to vulnerabilities in your system and show you how attackers are trying to break in. Let's explore the Ubiquiti Help Center for documents related to Honeypot. This article mentions that you will need either next-gen Unifi Gateway or Unifi Cloud Gateway. You can enable Honeypot on specific networks and it will alert you when any requests are made to its IP address. For today's test, I'm using UCG Max, which is a cloud gateway and gives full stack Unifi experience. I'm on the Unifi network version 8.462. First, open the Unifi network application, then we'll create a test network. Go to settings and click on networks. Click create new virtual network and give a network name. Let's call it test VLAN 20. Now uncheck the auto scale network option. Under the host address, enter 192.168.20.1. Then switch to manual configuration and set VLAN ID to 20. Finally, configure the DHCP scope by setting a range from 192.168.20.20 to 192.168.20.40. Once done, add your virtual network. As you can see here, this is our test virtual network. Now let's create the honeypot. Here's how. Navigate to security section. Under general, you will find option to create new internal honeypot. Let's take a look what it says. Detects and logs requests made to a specific IP address in order to find malicious client on the network. Click create new and choose the network. For this demo, I'm going to use our test network, which is test VLAN 20. Now I'll select an IP address that isn't in the DHCP pool. Let's go with 192.168.20.10. If you remember, we set the DHCP pool from 192.168.20.20 to 192.168.20.40. So this IP is outside of that range. That's it. The honeypot is successfully created. Simple, right? But how do we know when an attacker is trying to get into our network? Let me show you exactly how it's done. As per the topology, I have my MacBook connected to the test VLAN 20 network. First, I'll attempt to send a DNS query from my MacBook. I'll use the command dig at 192.168.20.10, which is the honeypot IP, ui.com. As expected, I get a timeout message, which is similar to non-existent DNS server. Later, we'll check the Unifi console to see if any detections or logs have been captured for this activity. Now, let's try another protocol, SSH. I'm going to attempt SSH connection to honeypot IP, typing SSH at root at 192.168.20.10. As expected, I get an error message saying connection closed by remote client. Let's try HTTP protocol as well. I'm going to use curl command. Curl http :/192.168.20.10 and enter. Now let's see how we can find these requests in the Unifi network application. If anything suspicious or malicious happening on the network, the honeypot will detect it and log the activity in the system logs. So let's head over to the system logs. You will notice there are various log types, but as for now, there are no specific notifications related to the honeypot. This is because the logs for honeypot activity are only visible if you enable IPS IDS or intrusion detection prevention systems on your console. So let's enable IPS IDS. Go to security, intrusion prevention. Right now it is turned off. We'll turn it on. You can set to auto or choose advanced for more customizations. With this enabled, let's go back to the system logs. Now we can see security detections. but it wasn't there prior enabling IPS IDS, right? Let's click on it and here we go. We can see the honeypot logs. If we look at the display options, you will notice that both honeypot and security detections are now visible. Let's take a look at the logs. There are 4 logs from today. Let's go through them one by one. The first one shows a DNS request from our initial test. As you can see, there are 3 attempts just like we made earlier. The next one is an SSH request, which we also tested before. You don't see the HTTP attempt right away, as it usually takes a bit longer to show up in the logs. Now you can spot 2 more honeypot logs from the HTTP requests. And there you have it. I've just shown you how to configure a honeypot on Unifi and how to check its logs. One important thing to remember is that this is an internal honeypot, meaning it only captures activity within your internal network, not from outside of the WAN. Also, note that Unifi supports few specific protocols for honeypots, including DNS, Telnet, FTP, MSSQL, SMTP, POP3, HTTP, and SSH. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to UI Tips by Learn with UCT for more Ubiquiti networking related tips. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.